Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Farid Zamputri Meti Fauzi. Me and my group members, which consist of Muhammad Alif bin Zamri, Siti Aisyah binti Cik Kamkah, and Nur Syuhada Nadira binti Aziz, are going to present about the National Archive of Malaysia. NAM, or National Archive of Malaysia, is an institution that is responsible to maintain and keep the Malaysian heritage treasures that include the history, bodies, and documentation in Malaysia. NAM devoted as the Centre of Collection and Conservation for Valuable History in Malaysia. NAM is regarded as GEM because it is the place for researchers to find out about what had happened in the past. Other than that, NAM also advantageous to know about the state relation between Malaysia and other countries. NAM also had other archivists outside the country to manage the records that affected by disaster. NAM is very beneficial for our country. The first function of NAM is to provide advice to government departments on the management of public records in systematic and effective ways. Next, NAM also helps to identify, collect and store and maintain records of information material that have a national heritage and history as national treasures. Other than that, NAM provides reference and research to government departments and the public. Conducting research and preparing documentation for information about history also included in the function of NAM. Last but not least, NAM also functioned to disseminate knowledge and information of historical value among the public. The activities in NAM are identify, appraise, preserve, and make available documentary material of long-term value that work as essential evidence to government departments of Malaysia. It is because all the records are crucial and has various value to its organisation. For example, legal value, fiscal value, administrative value, and historical value. Besides that, NAM ensures the accountability of government by preserving public records and making them available to the citizens as it is legally and ethically appropriate. On top of that, NAM also preserves unique and collectible documents of Malaysia and serve as memorial institution for our culture. Additionally, they also support scholarly, administrative, and personal research. On top of everything, their most important activity is to dispose non-active records to make sure the value of records are under control and can be managed efficiently. Sources of National Archive of Malaysia. The sources in NAM are primary. Primary sources can be defined as sources that provide first-hand account of an event or time period. It represents original thinking, reports on discovery or events. New information can also be regarded as primary record. It is said that way because the new information are usually the first formal appearance of original research. Primary sources are often created at the time the event occurs, but they can also include sources that are created later. Primary records are authoritative records, which means that it can be trusted and reliable because of their accurateness. The record that have not undergone the interpretation process yet, which means that it is still pure, as it is still have not been refined by opinion. The record has no intervention for researcher, and the primary record in NAM has good quality as it is the original record that has been managed and kept safely in NAM. It will also ease the researcher as it is more accurate compared to secondary records, as the record is purely from the actual event. The example of primary records are archive and manuscript material, photograph, audio recordings, video recordings, film, journal, letter and diaries, speeches, scrapbooks, government publication, oral history, records of organization, autobiography, and memoirs, printed and material artifacts such as clothing, costume, and furniture, along with research data like public opinion polls. Types of record kept in National Archive of Malaysia. National Archive of Malaysia have 15 repositories assigned under the organisation. 6 of them are located in headquarters, while the other 9 is located inside the 9 branches of National Archives around Malaysia. The 9 branches are at Kedah, Perlis, Pulau Pinang, Perak, Johor Negeri Sembilan, Melaka, Kelantan, Terengganu, Pahang, Sabah, and Sarawak. There is almost 5 million of records kept under NAM. All records in NAM are reliable as NAM only kept the record that has been acknowledged the truth. There are various types of records kept in NAM. The records include document, files, issue, photograph, research slide, agreements, private and common letter, revolving or departments in Malaysia government are safely kept in the NAM. There are a few records that consider special record under the collection of NAM. First is the collection of Royal Archive in Malaysia. This collection can only be retrieved and worked by validated researcher, and the records must be approved based on the needs and qualification of the researcher. Second is the original Malayan Declaration of Independence is also kept in NAM. It is crucial to keep the declaration safely as it is the symbol of independence in Malaysia. Besides that, NAM also keeps 61 of material that contain information about the establishment of national principle or Rukun Negara Malaysia. Next is the baptism record. Baptism record or baptismal record usually contain information about baptized person. The baptism record include the full name, the date of birth, the baptism date, and the parent's name along with the mother's maiden name. The baptism record in NAM is among the oldest records in NAM. NAM also keep numerous audiovisual records and tours in their organization. They even established the Audiovisual Documentation Center under their organization precisely to keep the audiovisual records. Next is the responsibilities of National Archives of Malaysia. National Archives of Malaysia has their own responsibilities toward our country. NAM is responsible to make sure the facts and the history of government institutions is remain preserved to fulfill their main function, that is to serve as archive center to the country and nation. Besides that, they are also responsible to provide advices and guidance to other archivists around Malaysia. If NAM not exist, the National Archives of Malaysia is in charge of all government records in Malaysia. If NAM was not exist, the volume of records from the public sector going to increase uncontrollably. It will affect the storage and retrieval system of records in Malaysia government. Besides that, if NAM was not exist, the efficiency of record processing within departments of Malaysia governments is going to decrease, as NAM is the advisor and manager of those records. Other than that, the absence of NAM will affect the historical student, as they will have problem to find the accurate facts or evidence about the history of Malaysia. Along with it, film producers will also be affected. It is because they will have difficulties to find the sources when they want to produce a film about the history of Malaysia.
NAM was first established in the year 1957 as the Public Record Office before changing to the current name in the year 1963. They were established at the current location at Jalan Duta in 1982. The National Archives Act 2003 Act 629 was passed in the year 2003, providing the legislative basis for the NAM branch of archives, in line with the development and surrounding of current technological advancement as well as the government transformation policy. NAM is hereby determined to foster widespread awareness among the people in all aspects, thus generating the formation of excellent human capital through the dissemination of information, regardless of boundaries of time and place. On the 1st of February 1961, the NAM was first based at the Federal Building in Petaling Jaya. There were many events that had occurred on NAMs in the year that has passed. For example, in the 5th of December 1966, the Record Management Center is officialized by the Deputy Prime Minister at the time, which was Yang Amat Muhammad Tun Abdul Razak. The logo was chosen when the competition was held, and the logo was created by Encik Sumali Ahmad in the year 1979. In December 1998, HIDS or Hari Ini Dalam Sejarah Online was started, and it began to display every event that had happened in that day and time but on different years. Branches of National Archives of Malaysia, NAM. NAM has 9 branches all over Malaysia. These buildings are located at Kedah Perlis, Pulau Pinang, Perak, Johor Negeri Sembilan Melaka, Kelantan, Terengganu, Pahang, Sarawak, and finally Sabah. The first ever branch was built in Johor, where the Johor citizens get to see and understand the importance of the National Archives as well as see all of the historical events that had occurred within Malaysia. Kedah National Archive is located at Alur Merah 05000 Alur Star, Kedah Darul Aman. This branch is opened from Sundays to Thursdays and is closed on Fridays and Saturdays. This branch is responsible for the records that originate from Kedah, Perlis, and even Pulau Pinang because it was the first in the eastern part of Malaysia. This branch was established on the 1st of March 1979. Sarawak National Archive was first established on the 1st of July 1976 and has been operating until today. Currently, it is located at tingkat 14 Bangunan Sultan Iskandar, Jalan Simpang 3, 93300 Kuching. It has been operating for the last 45 years and is currently still operating till this day. Next branch was built in Kuala Terengganu. They are based at the Federal Building and the NAM at Kuala Terengganu is responsible for all the records that originate from Kelantan and Pahang. This can be done because Terengganu was sitting between Kelantan and Pahang, so they get to manage the records and books that come from these two states. This branch was established in the 15th of April 1978. On the 13th of November, Pulau Pinang's branch was established and Kedah no longer has to be responsible for all the records that come from Pulau Pinang. On the 1st of February, Kelantan's branch was established and Terengganu was no longer responsible for any of the documents or records that come from their state. Kelantan's National Archive of Malaysia branch was located at Jalan Doktor, Kota Baru, Kelantan. On the 15th of July 2004, Malacca had opened its first branch of National Archives to the public and was based at Air Keroh, while on the 13th of April 2006, Sabah's branch of National Archive of Malaysia was established and it was based at Kota Kinabalu. This is the first in its state and all of the records or documents will be stored there instead of other states' branches. The construction first started on the 28th of January with the ceremony of perletakan batu asas Bangunan Arkib Negara Malaysia Cawangan Sabah. NAM has various departments and units in order to keep everything organized at every progress goes smoothly without any errors. The first department in NAM is the Planning and Coordinating Department within the organization. This department is responsible for making sure every strategy, fundamentals, and direction that NAM takes is effective and progresses smoothly with little to no errors. They are also responsible for making sure that all the archival presentation services and records management runs smoothly and abides the rules that has been set by NAM. Other than that, they are also tasked with making sure that all officers and staffs of the archives are at a level of competence in the archival industry and the record management procedures are set on the officers' scheduled time. It is also their job to make sure that the staffs and officers are all at full alert and aware where the records are. Next, the government record management. They are responsible for making sure that all public records are handled systematically and effectively, based on the rules set in order for the records to be preserved and accessed easily. Besides that, they are also tasked while making sure that electronic record management program can be carried out at the public office with the rules based by NAM. There are three units that are under the government record management, which are the Record Center Service, Electronic Record Management, and the Record Disposal Section. This department is also responsible for making sure that the record agency is upheld by the public office and obeying the specification that is set by NAM. The Archive Management Department is also responsible for upgrading the collection materials that can diverge from visual audio materials to personal archives. Their job is to receive archive materials and registering them into the Computerized Archival System and Services, or COMPAS for short, and the Archival Management System, which is AMS for short. Other than that, it's also their job to preserve visual audio archive materials by managing a specific warehouse for visual audio materials and preserving the materials within the digital archives, which is also located in the AMS systems. It is also their job to conserve physical archives by using various methods and restoration techniques. This can be done in 4 sections, which are the Visual Audio Archive section, Personal Archive section, Digital Archive section, and Preservation and Reprographic section. Next is the Service Management Department. The Service Management Department is responsible for planning, structuring, updating the rules related to the management and human resources, accounting and finances, development, project, and finally, information management or ICT. This department has over 7 units, which are the Maintenance and Development Unit, Management and Human Resource Unit, Accounting and Finance Unit, Record Management and Restoration and Registration Unit, Information Management Unit, Contract and Acquisition Unit, and finally is the Storage and Assets Units. Fifth is the Development Department. This department's duty is to make sure that all public archives are moved to NAM, are preserved and kept safely, systematically, and neatly in order to retrieve it with ease and whenever it is needed. Preparing a reference service to access the public offices and research is also one of its jobs. Other than that, research and determining methods and standards for official archives are also one of its jobs. Their objective is to preserve the archival material and also to provide reference convenience to governments, agencies, and the public. Besides that, spreading information regarding displays, promotions, and strategic publications is also its duties. Next is the Research Documentation Management Department, which is to ensure that the records information regarding demar- demarcation, sovereignty rights, current issues, and uh, fact check the country's history in order to move on and check the specific parties. Other than that, they are also tasked with planning and managing publishing, printing, distribution, and programs amongst the departments, carrying out research about historical events, historical sites, and historical icons, as well as collecting information and materials. Regarding of them to spread the masses, this department has three units, which are the special research units, documentation units, and search and distribution units. Finally, the Statesman Archive, their duty is to ensure that the roles and contribution of all public figures are appreciated and got the recognition from the country. Next is to make sure that the collection and tradition of treasures that belong to the public figures are preserved as proof of their leadership and achievement as the public figures. The objective of the department is to make the Statesman Archive as the center of studies and research for the country's history. This department has two units, which are the Planning and Restoration Unit and the Statesman Archive Management. The vision of NAM is to have a smart 2030. Next is the purpose of systematic records management. A systematic record management is very crucial towards any organization. A systematic records management will increase the functionality of staff. Besides that, it will also speed up the retrieval process and make the records available to staff when needed. That will definitely improve the efficiency of the organization at the same time. Besides that, a systematic records management will also reduce the redundancy of records. It is because the life cycle of records can be performed actively. Other than that, the systematic records management are also important in ensuring that records that have vital historical, physical, and legal value are preserved according to their function. Systematic records management will also help to identify the non-essential records that can be disposed in a timely manner according to established guidelines with identified legislations. What are the Statesman Archive? The Statesman's Archive is an archive specifically reserved for statesmen who are public figures that has made a large contribution to the country or even become a public figure for their actions and their deeds is recorded or the item that was in their possession at the time of contribution to be kept within the archive to be preserved. The list of the memorials is as follows: Tunku Abdul Rahman Putra Memorial, the Tunku Abdul Razak Memorial, the Tun Hussein On Memorial, the Statesman Memorial, the Sri Perdana Galleria, the Tun Abdul Ghaffar Baba Memorial, the P. Ramlee Memorial Library, the House of Independence, the Mahathir Mohamad Birth House Complex, and finally the P. Ramlee Birth House.
The awards received by National Archive of Malaysia is UNESCO DG Memory of the World Prize in 2009 from UNESCO in 31 July 2009. Other than that, MS ISO Quality Management System through certification, MS ISO 9002-1994 received on 14 December 2000. Next, the recognition received by National Archive of Malaysia, recognition United Nations Organization for Education, Science and Culture, UNESCO, which the Memory of the World Register recognition in 2002. Other than that, National Archive of Malaysia also invited by ICA. Disaster Management. A disaster plan was prepared as a safety for the preservation of the important records that contain administration records and records from government agency. or the important records and documents can be saved immediately and taken away from any disaster. National Archive of Malaysia also gives a hand to other archives to prevent the destruction of the records and helps in the conservation of the damaged records by natural disaster. Logo of National Archive of Malaysia. Logo of National Archive Malaysia was created by Encik Sumali bin Ahmad. 13 yellow paper were arranged to make a circle that later formed like a flower with 13 petals. The logo became the first base that symbolized the responsibility of National Archive Malaysia as the record keeper of Malaysian records. Act of National Archive Malaysia. The National Archive of Malaysia operated under their own law. There are two acts that consist the existence of the National Archive of Malaysia. The National Archive Act 1966 was later being replaced by National Archive Act 2003. Both of the act has proven to steadfast the administration in National Archive of Malaysia in order to be the greatest reference center in the eye of the world. Next is development of Audiovisual Documentation Centre. The establishment of Audiovisual Documentation Centre under the National Archive of Malaysia has been approved by the Cabinet of Ministry on 14 July in 1999. The Audiovisual Documentation Centre is specifically to keep and conserve audiovisual material inside of Malaysia. The audiovisual materials include static image, moving pictures and sound that has been recorded with various mediums. National Archive Malaysia also have an audiovisual exhibition hall outside the office. The audiovisual material is also important to be conserved. It is because it contains memorable value to our country. Other than that, it ensures that the generation in the future will not forget about the treasure of our ancestors.
The activities in National Archive Malaysia are record management, archival administration, and advocacy development. There are 45 activities organized by National Archive Malaysia. The purpose of these activities are to improve the public knowledge on the record management norm. Moreover, people know how norms operates and what types of records are kept in there and to learn about the value of the records and its history, along with how to retrieve the records from past events. Also, instrument to attract the society to know more about the function of NAM. Lastly, to close the gaps between NAM and the society. Moving on, National Archive Malaysia are using online finding aids OFA as their system. The function of this system is the future use of OFAs also allows for an easy centralized search for all types of archival material. OFA also provides online access for researchers and non-researchers to find sources of archival material such as document, audio, video, and photos as well as terms and conditions of use. Now maintain the ultimate right to restrict or revoke registration for security or other grounds as accessed by NAM. As conclusion, National Archive Malaysia play a vital role in managing, preserving, and conserving of national heritage records and other significant records by government agency. NAM also responsible to maintain the authenticity of records, which means the user can access an authentic and reliable sources from the archive. NAM is an institution that must be valued by all citizens for precious resources and treasure. NAM also had taken an initiative to ensure its existence are always relevant and the resources are always accessible at any time and anywhere. Thank you, that's all from me.